Writing is hard. Our most beloved authors admit that it took them years to craft their babies.
Hi! Say hi to mommy!
As a mom with 2 toddlers, I don't have time to read, or traditionally read, and this is when audiobooks come in handy. There's really no point in staring at a computer screen or a notebook if I'm not producing anything. Hello my lovelies! Today's video is about how to develop a writing mindset or getting into a writer's mindset. Now, developing a writing mindset can feel tricky for many of us writers. Essentially, we're trying to get inspired or motivated to start writing and to essentially keep writing. But how do you do that? How do you do that when you work a 9-to-5 job, you may have children like myself, you may be a caretaker, or you run a business? And it may feel defeating when we see our favorite authors publishing left and right. It makes us wonder if there's an answer key or a green button to it all in order to get this writing mindset correct. And yes, there is, but it's very subjective. Every writer has their own way of getting into a writing mindset, and it's up to you to figure out what works best for you. I'm going to give you 10 things that I do to get into a writing mindset and hope that it helps you and inspires you to start writing. And make sure you stay until the end because number 10 is the most crucial. So without any further ado, let's get started. One of the biggest things that I do is create and set a routine. I'm a creature of habit. And my routine actually differs from the week to the weekend. For instance, during the week, I rise early, 5 o'clock to be exact. I shower, do my toiletry, get myself ready, and then go downstairs and pack lunches for my husband and myself. At this time, my son also likes to get up early with me because he wants to watch some learning programs on TV and say farewell to me. I know, it's really early for a kid, but hey, Blippi's on. Then I drive to my work area, again, super early. I like to park by the mall because it's very quiet and it's less distracting than the work parking ramp, and there I could do some writing. I also write really late at night after my husband has put the kids down for bed. Now, I have a desk, but I've spent so many years writing in bed that it's most normal and comfortable for me to do so. And the weekend is normally when I film these videos. So instead of working on my novel, I do some blogging and then content creation. I have to remind myself that writing is not easy. If it was, everyone would be doing it. We would have libraries upon libraries upon libraries of everyone's written works. Writing is hard. Our most beloved authors admit that it took them years to craft their babies. Margaret Mitchell spent 5 years writing Gone with the Wind. Harper Lee spent 2.5 years writing To Kill a Mockingbird. J.R.R. Tolkien spent 7 years writing The Hobbit, with many years before the rest of his Hobbit World books were published. And my favorite, J.K. Rowling spent 5 years just planning Harry Potter before she wrote the first book. For myself, it's frustrating when I sit myself down and write and nothing comes to mind. And if it does, the first few sentences, paragraphs, even pages may not be on par to what I would consider to be good. And that's okay, because the whole point of writing is consistency and persistence. There's really no point in staring at a computer screen or a notebook if I'm not producing anything. It actually just makes me more frustrated. Therefore, I do other things, such as get out of the house. Speaking of which, I'm actually in need of another writing notebook and I'm meeting a friend at a coffee shop. So let's kill two birds with one stone and let's go do that. Come on. Oh, hey, I got you a coffee.
Hey there. Yeah, thanks for meeting with me. Oh, wow, that looks great. Wow, thanks.
So I was telling these lovely folks about how to develop a writing mindset. I was wondering what you could tell them.
So you want to know how to get into the writer's mindset? That's actually a great question. Think about something that you're really passionate about or something that you've seen lately. Think could be a book, a movie, or anything that really captures your imagination. Now, get that image in your mind, sit down and write about it, but make it easy. Do it only in 3 sentences, right? Just like the top 3 things that stood out to you. And then you've written your own story or your own description. Or you could even turn that into an even bigger story, something that really speaks to you. That will help you get into the writer's mindset. Oh, looks like I gotta go, but it's been great catching up with you.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. We could definitely catch up another time.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Bye. And we're back. That was Kaufman, by the way, from Kaufman's Corner. He's a creative writer who uses his platform to help you better your writing and gain the support that you need. He also gives writing advice and will do live readings of your own stories if you want someone to read it. He also had podcasts that you can listen to. So go check him out after this. Back to the video. I like to get out of the house. As you saw, I like to go to such places as the bookstore or the coffee shop. Doing so allows me to change up my environment and it allows me to browse the aisles, hang out with friends, and grab a coffee. It also allows me to think about my writing, pay attention to my surroundings, and maybe use what I hear in a future piece of writing, and spend this time with my family.
Hi. Say hi to mommy. Princess.
Hopefully you saw this one coming. As easy as it is to use a computer or a phone because of its convenience, there are actually benefits to using a notebook and pen or pencil to do some writing longhand. For example, writing by hand improves your memory, it improves your writing and verbal skills, promotes creativity, allows you to process information better, and it's therapeutic. Now, I use notebooks to do some journaling, such as morning pages, or I jot down story ideas. I may write out scenes to my novels as they come to mind, or I write down conversations I hear as I pay attention to my surroundings. The list is endless when it comes to using a notebook. Every author advises that aspiring writers must read. Read in your favorite genre, read the classics, read the latest, greatest, just read. And that's because there are so many benefits to reading. Reading allows you to see what the publishing world is accepting, therefore what's popular and selling. You can learn new writing techniques and styles from authors. You can learn to study plot structure and story arcs more thoroughly in order to understand the art of storytelling. You can understand character development better and make your own characters more well-rounded. You can learn new vocabularies, spelling, sentence structures, and the like. You also learn how to form language and dialogue.
Yeah, baby.
And most importantly, you get to see the world through a new lens, be it the characters or the authors. I admit, as a mom with 2 toddlers, I don't have time to read or traditionally read, and this is when audiobooks come in handy. This is also a great way to learn if you are an auditory learner. Another great way for me to get into the writing mindset and get some inspiration and stay motivated to write is to reread my old writings. I have writings in multiple places, from boxes to USBs to my bedside to my phone. And the reason is because my writing habits have changed throughout the years. However, it's amazing to go back through and see how my writing has changed, and to especially see that I never really understood the concept of storytelling until about 4 years ago. Editing Lisa here to say that I cannot find my boxes of writing at the moment. In the past 8 years, I have moved about 3 times from apartment to the current house that I am living in. I am currently in my bedroom editing, and I cannot find my boxes of writing. I'm pretty sure they're in the basement somewhere, but when I find them, I will share them with you guys. And it was also at this time that I started truly writing again. I do have some of my old writings posted on my blog, so feel free to go and read those. We've all been there before. You sit down to write and nothing comes to mind. 1 minute turns into 10 minutes, which then turns to you just angrily and frustratingly asking why it is you're not writing. To solve this problem, instead of the act of writing, just think about what you want to write. Spend time playing scenes in your head, such as dialogue between characters, the next chapter, how the characters are going to go from A to B, maybe the ending of your story. You don't need to actively be writing. TMI, but one of the places where writing ideas come to me is in the bathroom. Try it. Now, this point is also passive. Instead of actively writing my story or thinking about it, I do some learning instead. As an ex-teacher, I'm a huge believer and advocate for remaining a lifelong learner. This could be attending workshops or online courses, listening to interviews, reading authors' memoirs or autobiographies, and so much more. In all honesty, my writing changed due to one author's writing course, and I wish that I had discovered it sooner because it taught me that I've been writing wrong my whole life. Thanks to the course and book, I now have a completed novel. For the journey about how I finished my novel, I'll link that video here. In all honesty, just write. I write anything, really. And I have to remind myself that I'm not aiming for perfectionism or my masterpiece. I'm really just shooting for consistency and persistence, as noted before. And this could be working on some writing prompts, a blog post, a future scene in my novel, rewriting the beginning or the ending of my book, and so on. If you ask any author for their writing advice, they're going to tell you to just write. And they're also going to admit that your first sentence to paragraph to pages to who knows however much may not even be publishable in the end. But that's not the point. The point is that you're writing because you're a writer. Before we get to the last tip of this video, if you found this video to be helpful and valuable, don't forget to click that like button. It really helps the algorithm to push this video over to other writers. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this in the future. Now back to the video. And lastly, I have to get off of social media. This is because staring at a screen can actually eat up my time and my day, hours of it, unintentionally. Remaining on social media can also lead to health concerns such as depression and anxiety and a lack of social connections. Instead of staring at Facebook or Instagram or X and seeing how friends and family or celebrities are doing and comparing myself to them, I shut off my screen. Again, this is me being conscious about how I spend my time, choosing to be active. And of course, writing is an active form. Going on YouTube or TikTok and scrolling around is very passive. Also, spending the next year to 10 years dreaming about becoming a best-selling author is also passive. Sure, it's easy, but it's not going to get me the results that I want, and it's not going to help me either. Nor is it going to help you. You want to be a writer. So turn off this video, not quite yet, and get back to your writing. In conclusion, developing a writing mindset or getting into a writer's mindset can be very tricky for us writers. How do we gain the inspiration and the motivation to keep writing when life is happening in and around us? It's very subjective, but we can do it. I have given you 10 of the things that I do to help me get into a writing mindset, and I hope that you can apply them yourself when you get into a sticky spot. That's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're looking for more ways to improve your writing, don't forget to check out Kaufman's Corner. And I'll see you in another video. Until then, take care and have fun writing. Bye! Hello lovelies, welcome back to A Writer's Corner with me, Lisa Shimkis. I'm an author, ex-teacher, and mother of two. Today, I want to talk about a very hard truth about writing. And the reason it is a hard truth is that nobody tells you this. You actually have to discover it for yourself. It took me over 30 years to learn this, and you may be in the same boat. The boat you are sailing in is covered in flowers and rainbows and palettes of pinks and baby blue and all sorts of bright colors, or dark depending on your style. Anywho, you are on this journey from a story idea to a full-length novel. You're excited, your adrenaline is flowing, and you have set yourself down at your writing desk or bed, wherever it is you feel most at peace, and are ready to see your story come to life. Your thoughts are flowing with this grand idea. You know who all the characters are, you know what the inciting incident is, what the big climatic event will be, and you know how the story is going to end, and you play this in your head over and over and over. You even share this grand idea with your closest friends, other writers, social media, what have you. And if you're like many of us writers, especially the neurodivergent ones, many stories come to you, one story idea followed by another, and you jot them all down, and pretty soon you have a notebook full of story ideas. But do you see where I'm going here? All you've done so far is jot down story ideas, either in a notebook or in your head. You have no manuscript on paper, no full-length novel on your computer or written down in notebooks, and you especially don't have a book in the hands of readers. Which brings me to the point of this video. Writing is an act, not a thought nor an idea. A story idea is not a book. It can be turned into a book, but until you get to that process, to that point, it's still just a thought. Again, writing is an act. What is an act? According to Oxford Languages and Google, an act means to take action, do something. If all you're doing is thinking about your story or dreaming about it, you're not acting, you're not producing any writing. The reason I say this is a hard truth and nobody tells you this is that you actually have to learn this for yourself. You have to discover it for yourself as a writer. Authors can tell you left and right to read and write, but until you get to that point of reading and writing, you're not a writer. You're just a dreamer. This one act of writing is also something no one else can force you to do. They can't point a gun at you or give you an incentive such as money or candy and force you to write. Only you can force yourself to write. I admit it actually took me over 30 years to fully complete a manuscript, and that's because of this hard truth. The reason it took me so long to discover this truth is that I was doing the easiest part in all of this, which is dreaming up or coming up with story ideas in comparison to finding time to write. Granted, finding time to write is still hard because I work a 9-to-5 and I'm a mom of 2 toddlers. When I finally made the decision to start writing again, I had to create a schedule, and that schedule was writing early in the morning before I started work, during my work breaks, and after my kids went to bed. Now that I'm living on my own again and co-parenting my kids with their dad, I actually have to find a new schedule. But back to you. If you're struggling to get motivated to write, I highly suggest you go and watch my other videos. I'll link some down below for you guys to watch. And while you watch them, Take notes and just start writing. I don't care if you have to write, I don't know what to write about, 1,000,000,000 times. At least you're writing. And now that I think about it, I might have to do the same thing. Maybe I'll create a video on rediscovering a writing mindset and writing habit post-divorce. We'll see. Well, good luck. I hope this information was helpful. And remember, only you can get yourself to write. Have fun. Bye. If you really think about it, this phenomenon of less is more is the reason people have started going minimalistic and downsizing to tiny homes.
Cheese. Okay, Russell, jump. Whoa, big jump.
Don't try to be the next Stephen King or imitate the Bible or the dictionary. My name is Lisa Shimkus, and I am a mom of 2 who went from teaching to lifing. I enjoy writing, reading, crafting, and learning. My channel is here to help you learn and grow through the use of books and writing, and to help you make your writing dreams come true. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to A Writer's Corner. Today, we are going to discuss the writing tip, less is more. Before we do that, if you're an avid reader, chances are you write a lot. You enjoy expressing yourself in words, and chances are sometimes you may write too much. And there are consequences to this. I recently came upon the book Writing for Busy Readers by Todd Rogers and Jessica Lasky-Fink. One topic Rogers and Lasky-Fink wrote about is this idea of less is more. If you really think about it, this phenomenon of less is more is the reason people have started going minimalistic and downsizing to tiny homes. The satisfactions in life are the little things. And if you're a parent, it could literally be your children.
Okay, Russell, jump. Cheese. Okay, Russell, jump. Whoa, big jump. Okay, Elsie's turn. Yay, good job, Elsie.
And this applies to writing. Sometimes we may want to write long emails, blog posts, and never-ending stories in order to convey our messages more. However, there are some downsides to this. According to Rogers and Lasky-Fink, more writing takes more time to read and requires more concentration. Because of this, longer messages deter readers from engaging. In short, the more you write, the less engaged your readers become. Rogers and Lasky-Fink were able to prove this by conducting an email survey. They found that twice as many people participated in the email survey when their emails were shorter and more concise, in comparison to longer emails that request that folks take part in the same exact survey. It was a ratio of 4.8% to 2.7%. What does this mean for you? If you're working on a blog post or a manuscript, revise it and cut down your word usage. For example, you may start with because of this and change it to therefore. Or they are a person who can become they, and in the time frame of can become while. If you're responding to an email or a text message, simplify it. Let's look at an example. Hi Sally, I'm so sorry, but I can't make it to dinner tonight. My mother just called and she needs help with yard work and moving furniture. She also needs me to take the dog to the vet. Again, I'm so sorry. Can we reschedule? Can be revised to, sorry, another obligation has come up. Let's reschedule. I'll explain later. In other words, when you write a story, don't try to be the next Stephen King or imitate the Bible or the dictionary. If you're writing a text message or an email, keep it short and to the point. That way, your readers are more engaged. And note, this does not mean cutting down on descriptive words. This will actually make your writing quite bland. Instead, use precise words to convey your message. I highly suggest reading graphic novels to see how this is used. In conclusion, if you are an avid reader, you are a lover of words, and you may write too much. There are actually consequences to expressing yourself in too many words. Therefore, cut down on your word usage and use precise words instead to get your message across. Remember, less is more. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like another writing tip, watch this video here, and I'll see you there. Bye.